What about Xherdan? The Spanish goalkeeper's enjoyed a remarkable rise as a Liverpool player, pressed into his debut less than a week after joining in August, and has won all 11 Premier League games he's played in, as well as, of course, being the hero in the UEFA Super Cup. However, recalled after another injury to Alisson Becker, recent mistakes have contributed to exits from both the FA Cup and Champions League. Keep or sell? Well, keep, primarily as backup, with him looking perfectly adequate to fulfil that role. Dejan Lovren has had a rollercoaster of a Liverpool career, but the emergence of Joe Gomez and the form of Joel Matip over the last 15 months have severely limited his playing time in recent times. A poor performance, although he certainly wasn't the only one during the surprise defeat to Watford in the Premier League, could perhaps have sealed his fate. Keep or sell? Well, perhaps Lovren could be better served as moving on in the next transfer window, albeit having been a good servant for Liverpool and better than his critics have perhaps given him credit for. What about Gini Wijnaldum? Well, the Dutchman's been an integral player ever since arriving almost 4 years ago and has started all bar one of the Premier League games this season. The worry is he still hasn't agreed a new contract though, with his current one due to expire in just 15 months. Keep or sell? Well, keep. Even if Wijnaldum doesn't agree a new deal, Klopp demonstrated with Emre Can that he's happy to retain players who would be of use despite being in the last year of their contract. Xherdan Shaqiri was a snip from relegated Stoke City in the summer of 2018 and more than played his part during his first 6 months at Anfield. Since then though, the form of others and a number of injury problems have meant he's played just 216 minutes in the Premier League in more than a year. Keep or sell? Well, it looks as though Shaqiri could be moving on with the arrival of Takumi Minamino. It looks as though the Reds have perhaps already begun to move on. Naby Keita, well, it's easy to forget the excitement around the Ghanaian when he moved to Liverpool in 2018. There have been flashes of inspirational brilliance and brief spells of continued impact, but for a variety of reasons there haven't been many maintained periods of form. Keep or sell? Well, perhaps it would be best to keep Naby Keita, as there's plenty more to come from him if he gets a break whenever football does return. What about Divock Origi? Well, he came out of the cold to score a raft of important goals last season, not least in the latter stages of the Champions League. But despite being in from the start at the beginning of this term, it hasn't quite gone to plan for the Belgian, who struggled for consistency. Keep or sell? Well, perhaps it's time for Origi to move on. It seems balmy to say for a crowd favourite, but perhaps it is time for pastures new, especially if a new striker were to arrive. And then what about Loris Karius, Marco Grujic and Harry Wilson? Well, all three have been out on loan and are set to return to Anfield when the season does conclude. By that point, Karius would have gone more than 2 years since featuring for Liverpool, Grujic 2.5, and Wilson more than 3 years. So is it time to sell all three? Well, Grujic has impressed at Hertha Berlin, Wilson likewise with Bournemouth, and both would get sizable fees. Meanwhile, Karius has had a trickier time with Besiktas and is unlikely to play for the Reds again.